I'm just watching for my high sign here. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to personally welcome each and every one of you and thank you for taking the time from your busy schedules so that we can gather here this afternoon for the 2022 State of the City Address. My name is Krista Ross, and I'm CEO of the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to welcome our television audience from across the province, made possible today by Rogers TV. Thank you for joining us live today. I'm very excited to welcome everyone to our first major event of the season. It's so good to see you all in person. The State of the City is an opportunity for our members to be informed about the challenges and successes in the city. As well as that, we can expect to hear what is happening in the coming year with our municipality. This is Mayor Rogers' second State of the City address, and I know we are all looking forward to learning about the goals that she and her council, along with their team of city employees, have put in place for the upcoming year and beyond. We have many members of City Council and senior staff in attendance with us today, and we thank each of them for attending, along with our other dignitaries. On behalf of the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce, I want to acknowledge the generosity of many of our very special chamber members who are sponsors of today's event. Many of these people are here with us, and I want to express thanks for their continued support to our chamber and to our community. Our platinum sponsor, Hotspot Parking. Our gold sponsors, Elliott McRae Hill and Encore. Our silver sponsors, Gauguin Architecture and Ignite Fredericton. Our broadcast sponsor, Rogers TV. Our bronze sponsors, Advocate Printing, Kears Marketing Group, and Rob Blanchard Photography. And our past Mayor's Table sponsor, the Real Estate Board of Fredericton Area, Inc. I would now like to introduce our platinum sponsor, John Blackmore of Hotspot Parking, to come up to the stage to share some remarks and to introduce our guest of honor.
Thank you, Krista. It's great to be back at this excellent event. I always love to see our hotspot table there, giving me lots of support. It's their second year that we're the sponsors of this event, so we're very happy to be back and thankful to be welcome back. All right, so let's talk today. I can guarantee that everyone here can think of a time that they've had to rely on the people around them to solve a particularly difficult problem. And that's because conducting business is hard. And it's supposed to be hard. If it were easy, everyone would do it. That's a quote by Tom Hanks in the Hollywood movie A League of Their Own. I haven't watched it, but I needed a quote that agreed with my message, so you're welcome. But business is hard. But it's the support that we receive from others that makes success possible. And I'd like to take the next couple of minutes to talk about Hotspot as a Fredericton success story that ultimately led to its acquisition by IBI Group. Hotspot started as an idea. Philip Curley, head of Hotspot, saw a problem that he wanted to solve. Parking was outdated. It required pocket change or an in-person purchase of a permit. In short, it was a hassle. So, in 2013, Hotspot was formed with just 2 people. But a service is no use if there's not a spot to offer that service. And that's where Fredericton came in. They took the risk to work with a young company, and that allowed Hotspot to develop and test services in the city. So a lot of you were guinea pigs, and we thank you for that. Hotspot was able to work with city workers to help develop these services. Over the next couple of years, Hotspot grew to 12 employees. But not every success story has a path that only goes up. After a failed U.S. expansion in 2016, Hotspot had to be restarted, and its numbers dropped from 12 to 3. The next year was spent reworking the Hotspot app and using the knowledge of past mistakes to move forward. Armed with new knowledge and experience, Hotspot continued working with the City of Fredericton on new projects and services as it continued to expand into other provinces and municipalities. Slowly, the scope of projects increased, and more partnerships were needed to meet the growing criteria of cities wanting to be forward-thinking with digital parking solutions. As of 2019, one of those companies was IBI Group. IBI Group is a global architecture, engineering, planning, and technology firm that is creating the intelligent systems, sustainable buildings, and efficient infrastructures of tomorrow. The IBI Group saw Hotspot as an ideal fit for their clients that were looking for innovative parking solutions. This natural partnership saw more growth with Hotspot, beating out larger corporations that had better funding. And on June 1st, 2022, Hotspot was acquired by IBI Group and added them to their intelligence sector. Now, a lot of people have asked what's different now and has it been a good transition? And I'd have to say that aside from having to work with a bunch of engineers, it's been great. I'm joking, of course, and I'm sure there are many engineers in the room. But really, I think the people have been the best part. It's been a pleasure to work alongside the dedicated and driven people from IBI Group. The IBI Group is a company that, with a spirit of innovation, and it was looking to acquire Hotspot as the people of Hotspot as much as the company itself. And as Hotspot nears its 10-year anniversary, it's looking forward to expanding at a much faster pace with the backing of IBI Group. But no matter how big we get, and trust me, it's already happening, we will always remember that we started here with the support of an innovative city called Fredericton and the people who call it their home. Now, the next person I'm going to introduce you to will most likely have a couple positive things to say about Fredericton as well, and that is, of course, our mayor. In May 2021, Mayor Kate Rogers brought about change by becoming Fredericton's first female mayor. This feat was a culmination. Yes. This feat was the culmination of 9 years as a city councillor in service to the people of Fredericton. And I don't know if you know this, but she did during a pandemic. With a master's in political science, Mayor Kate Rogers has honed her leadership skills in the nonprofit sector. She is the past executive director of the Fredericton Foundation and the Charlotte Street Arts Centre, to name a few. Her journey as a city council member began in May of 2012, where during her first term she served as chair of both the Community Services Committee and the Arts and Culture Committee. She was a member of both the Development Committee, Finance and Administration Committee, and was a council representative for the Planning Advisory Committee and the Preservation Review Board and Downtown Fredericton. In her second consecutive term, while serving as deputy mayor, she chaired the Governance and Civic Engagement Committee and served as the city's representative on RCS 11. She was also the vice chair of the Mobility Committee, as well as a member of both the Livable Community Committee and the Economic Vitality Committee. During that time, she also chaired the city's Affordable Housing Committee and the City of Arts and Culture Advisory Committee. Now, that is a long list of accomplishments and committees and endless hours on behalf of everyone sitting here in this room and the people of Fredericton. And she did this all while raising a beautiful family with her husband, Mike Wolf, in a city that she loves and has committed her life to. And now it is my pleasure to introduce you, Her Worship, Mayor Kate Rogers, to the podium for the State of the City address. Mayor Rogers.
Thank you, John. Good afternoon, everyone. Kulsikupan, bienvenue, welcome. It is an honor to be here with all of you this afternoon to present this year's State of the City address. I want to thank all of you for taking time out of your day to attend this year's lunch hour event. I'd say that your presence here demonstrates your passion for our city and for its future. Before I proceed any further, I have many thank yous that I wish to extend. First of all, I want to say a sincere thank you to the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce for hosting yet another successful event. I know a lot of effort goes into planning events like this. I have planned a lot of these types of events. I want to thank you, your staff, all of the sponsors who make this possible. It's a lot of work, and I think it's worth it for us to all be together and talk about our city, give a little time and a little love, show a little love for the city. Now, speaking of showing a little love, I would also like to take a moment just to remember our Queen, Queen Elizabeth II. Whether you're a monarchist or not, I think all of us can agree that her commitment to public service, her dedication to the people is truly inspirational. I know that I have been inspired by her. I think a life dedicated to public service is the best life one can lead, and I admire her greatly. I honor her today by wearing purple, the regal color. I brought out my pearls. I'm wearing my brooch. This is my way of honoring this queen who served us and all of those of us living in the Commonwealth for so many years. I also want to show and express gratitude to many people who are in attendance this afternoon. First of all, I have to thank my peeps over here at the table. It's really nice to look over and see all of my council colleagues. I'm going to give them all a shout out. We have Councillor LeBlanc, we have Councillor McGarity, Councillor Lejeune, Councillor Pike, Councillor Shepherd, Councillor Breen, Councillor Grandy. Thank you so much for being here, you guys, with us today. I'm the one who's doing all the talking, surprise, surprise, but these folks help, but they do a lot of the work, and I couldn't be here, and I couldn't do what I do without them, so thank you. Also, I have to give a shout out to staff who are sitting in a nearby table. We have our CAO, Steve Hart, and Deputy CAO, Sarah DeGrasse, but then we have lots and lots of other staff who are there with them. And I already went over and said I'm not going to be able to name all of you, but it doesn't mean that you're not all important and that the work that you do isn't important and that I really cherish all of it. So thank you to all of you as well. And yeah. They really are awesome, I have to say. Really, really great people. Also, the mayor's table. I look at this group of gentlemen and I think of all of your years of service to our city, and I want to thank you. I love looking out at this table because I know you're here because you still love Fredericton. Bud and Brad and Walter and Sandy, thank you very much for coming out this afternoon. The head table has already been mentioned. I won't give the names again, although I do want to say a sincere thank you to Blossimus and to Sagam Allen and to David for joining my family and the people here from the chamber. I brought both of I say both my moms. I have my mom here and my mother-in-law here, who has just moved to Fredericton because it's such an awesome place. She's come here from Guelph. But for a little sadness for me today is that my daughters aren't here. They're like my favorite people. No offense to my wonderful husband, Mike, who is sitting right there. They are university students. In case you didn't know, it's the first week of school, and I guess we've done a good job, Mike, because they felt it was more important to go to their class than to come here and listen to their mom talk once again. So one of them is up there teaching, the other one's in class, so they're not here, but you're going to see a picture of them later on, which if they were here, they'd kill me, so it's a good thing they're not going to see it. So, okay, now on to the speech. Today's speech it's entitled Fredericton, a City Well Crafted. So this past winter, there's a little story here, so I'm going to share it with you. This past winter, the City of Fredericton's tourism department underwent a branding exercise. And like any undertaking of this option, there were lots of choices. Lots of things were being considered until the city, we finally settled on Fredericton, a life well crafted. I'm waiting for the slide to change to show all this. No, okay, so we're not quite there yet, so my fault. Okay, so the title is Fredericton, a city well crafted. This past winter, after settling on that, they shared it with us. They told us what they decided on. I was like jumping up and down practically in the committee meeting because I love this slogan. I feel it really sums up Fredericton. It speaks to its character, which is a city rich in culture. We have a craft college here. We are the pewter capital of Canada. We're home to public sculptures, host of many spectacular arts festivals, large and small. We're a city that looks forward while honoring where it's been. It denotes the craftsmanship that went into planning and the laying out of this city. So I am married to a survey engineer, so I do pay attention to the layout of a city. And if you look at our downtown, just think of downtown. It's all set out in these perfect little blocks, all of the blocks. If you look at it on a map and you see this perfectly squared off all of these blocks, they were surveyed by Scottish surveyor Lieutenant Dugald Campbell in 1786. Our city has been crafted for that many years. It's been crafted a long time. So I just think that this brand acknowledges the originality of our city. Fredericton it's a gem. It is a gem, and we need to be talking about that all the time. So not only is it a great slogan, it decided it speaks so much to the uniqueness of our city. It has to have its own font. So when you look at when you go and when you'll see it, I don't think it's been launched, the tourism website, but when it is, you'll see it's Fredericton, a life well crafted, in this perfect little font with these little, it's like these little points. It's like pointillism from like Monet or something. It's wonderful. So I will say, I also really appreciated it because as I thought of what we do at the city and our city leadership and our city governance, I felt that it could be extended to the overall City of Fredericton brand because it describes how we function at City Hall. All of us here today, we understand that great cities don't just happen. They just don't come out of midair. They are crafted. Fredericton was ranked as the best city in Atlantic Canada. That's no accident. Over the years, we've been thoughtful and intentional and deliberate in our approach to balancing our books and to creating a vibrant community. It's resulted in lots of successes. This year we were named in the top 10 small cities of Canada. We're named one of the world's top 7 intelligent communities. So there are lots of accolades because of this city that's had so much deliberate planning. I would also say to you, and this is the guise that I'd like us to think about. Sure, we want to be well crafted, but for what? For what purpose? Well, we are crafting outcomes and our return on investments. So we're crafting a city that brings the outcomes that we want for our city. The city crafting has many positive benefits. The deliberateness and intentionality of our work, it has generated real outcomes. So I thought because I'm with a business crowd that I will speak to these spin-offs as ROIs, as returns on investments. What are the returns on investments of having a well-crafted city? So we know, first off, Fredericton's growing. Over the past 20 years, our city's population has jumped by 20,000 people. That's like half the population of what it was when I was a young kid. So that's a lot. Between 2016 and 2020, Greater Fredericton attracted more newcomers than any other urban centre across New Brunswick. In the next 20 years, we expect to grow to 90,000 people. This will be thanks in part to the 4,500 new residents coming from Killarney, Douglas, Pepper Creek, and Evergreen Park, as well as some sections of McLeod Hill. To ensure smart and deliberate growth, the city prepared a growth strategy and municipal plan that gave clear direction on where this growth was supposed to occur over the next 25 years. I'm sure you've been noticing the development. You've been noticing what's happening. You've probably seen the many apartment buildings that are being built. It's all part of a carefully thought out plan to build dense, complete communities. There's very little available land left within the city limits. So we need to be really strategic on how we develop and how we grow. As you drive around the city, you'll probably see that there are fewer single-family homes being built. There's more duplexes, there's more multi-units and apartment buildings, each of varying degrees of height, which is also a little alarming for some people. All of this is happening when you look around the city, but it's needed. These developments are much needed. We are hearing, though, from young people, I'm hearing it from the young people in my lives, who want to build a life here, who want to establish futures. They want to have a dog. They might want to have a family. They want a home. They want a single, detached house. They want to build a life similar to the life that they had when they were growing up. I also hear from newcomers arriving in Fredericton that they want a home. They want a house with a yard. They want to experience that great North American dream, that great Fredericton dream. So to help fulfill these aspirations by our residents, our team at City Hall is very much looking forward to fulfilling the development plan at the New Brunswick Exhibition Grounds. And the remaining part of the part of those grounds where it's most appropriate to have a housing develop. We want to reimagine that part of our city with more housing. Because, friends, we can't grow if we don't have housing. Development activity in Fredericton, it has soared to record levels. In Fredericton, we ended the year with a record-breaking $187 million in development activity. In the first 6 months of 2022, the total value of all newly permitted construction was $135.6 million. So we're already in the first 6 months of 2022, already past where we were at the same point in 2021. In total, there's been $88.3 million of residential construction in the past year. That's 45 residential units were created overall from January to June. And of these units, 170 are considered affordable housing units. We still have a lot of work to do, but that's an incredible milestone. It's almost a quarter of the residential units that were built in the first 6 months of this year are considered affordable. We're responding to housing affordability, particularly at a time when inflation is high. We all know what the cost of living is, so it's really important that we hit that milestone. In non-market housing developments, the city has worked really closely with all of our partners in the community. There's the 12 Neighbours Inc., Habitat for Humanity. Working with those organizations has helped us fulfill some really core housing needs. Last year, the city approved 96 homes for 269 Two Nations Crossing, which is the 12 Neighbours development, and to date, 22 of those houses have already been built. In June, Habitat for Humanity had a groundbreaking ceremony. You can see some of us there in the. Oh, I guess you're looking up there. You can see some of us in the photo. It was on Devon Avenue, and we went out. Oh my goodness, it was wonderful. We went. The families who were going to live in the house, they were there as well. It was land that the city donated so that we could have more affordable housing, and it's just really close by a wonderful duplex development that Habitat for Humanity is building on Titus Street. So that was a happy day, and I think you can see the difference that housing makes in people's lives. Look at those smiles. So I guess I would say to you, you know, when I ran and previously as a councillor and now as a mayor, I talk about housing affordability, building houses that building homes that people in our city can afford. And my council is doing just that. We are ensuring that those homes are getting built, and we will continue to do so. As a result of our thoughtful and deliberate city crafting, we're creating a more inclusive and welcoming community for everyone. And it's because we need to build a community that's reflective of our entire city. The vision that we have for our city is built around complete neighborhoods with a variety of housing types. More density creates communities where local businesses, jobs, daycares, schools, parks, amenities, it's all within an active transportation distance, which means Frederictonians can spend less time in their cars. So just think of those kind of neighborhoods where there's a corner store, where you're close to a bus stop, where there's walking trails so you can get to work, where maybe there's a school in your neighborhood. We're thoughtfully and deliberately building that kind of city. We are crafting that kind of city. Complete neighborhoods preserve natural spaces rather than contribute to sprawl. Developing in this way means spending less because we'll limit the need for new infrastructure. This savings will allow the city more flexibility. It leaves us more money to spend on the things that we love, like parks and trails and special events and public transit. As Fredericton continues to mold its growth strategy around urban density and complete neighborhoods, we are shaping a city that's sustainable and cost-effective to operate, in addition to being vibrant and inclusive. I would say, too, a well-crafted city has a return on investment of fiscal stability and security. I don't know if you know this, but Fredericton is an old city. It was officially incorporated in 1848, but it's been around much longer than that, and much prior to that, we had Indigenous communities living in these parts. The good news is that even though we have an old city and we have, say, lots of old pipes in the ground, the City of Fredericton is a leader across the country in infrastructure renewal. Our engineering team, I'm looking over at some of them there, our engineering team has a municipal program that's dedicated to infrastructure renewal. It identifies and prioritizes which pipes to fix and when. And we all know that preventative medicine, it is preventative medicine, I guess, but it's also preventative maintenance on things like our cars, on our roofs. If we do them before they break down too much, it's a lot cheaper to fix. So I'd say we're doing the right things at the right time. City infrastructure lasts about 20 years before it needs to be replaced. So we're playing the long game and we're building resilience in our infrastructure renewal projects before they break down. Although it might not feel like it at the time, especially when you're driving down the street and it's closed and you see all the orange detour signs, it's actually this preventative maintenance is less disruptive for residents in the long term. A good example of our design approach, this proactive design approach, is the final phase of the Brookside Drive project. I'm looking out to Minister Green, who is a huge help in making that all happen. Thank you, Minister Green. Working alongside Business Fredericton North, we've scheduled the work to be completed this year so that when the provincial roundabout opens, no more work will be required on the lower part of Brookside. Additionally, while replacing old pipes on Brookside Drive, we've also upsized pipes to accommodate future growth, all this future growth we're talking about. We increased the size of storm sewer pipes and culverts to accommodate anticipated impacts from climate change. We narrowed the road, we've added separated bike lanes, and we've crafted the first complete street that will connect the Brookside area to the Northside Trail. We took a similar approach on Rookwood Avenue, replacing old buried pipes, narrowing the street to build a multi-use boulevard trail that connects the Trans-Canada Trail to Wilmot Park, to Odell Park, as well as to the Valley Trail. As we plan and craft these municipal projects, we are projecting and looking to what our needs will be in the future, in 20 years, in 30 years, in 50 years from now. This is the best way to ensure the greatest value for our dollar. And while I know it's not sexy to talk about infrastructure renewal results in savings to our taxpayers, which means we can then afford all the fun stuff that we love to do. At City Hall, we're also actively creating a cleaner environment for our city. Earlier this year, we stepped up our greenhouse gas reduction targets. It puts us slightly ahead of federal and provincial targets. We're aiming to cut emissions in half by 2030 to reach a net zero by 2050, both in the community and within our own city operations. We've already started making great strides towards these goals. We've designed action plans, and we're currently crafting a community climate engagement plan that will help us understand the barriers to change. Let's face it, you guys, we've all known for a really long time that the environment, climate, we're in rough shape. We have to pay particular attention. But for whatever reason, it's really hard. Behavioral change is really, really hard. So part of our community action plan is looking at that. How can we break down the barriers that keep us from making that change as a community? We're doing that in collaboration with our community partners, and we want to make sure that all of our residents feel really supported in this green transition. The City has been intentional in its investment in energy efficiency and renewable energy projects for our municipal buildings, which has resulted in lots of operational savings. And as well, we've started transitioning the City's fleet and our equipment to hybrid and electric technologies. Our team is continuing to develop active transportation infrastructure. Every time I give a number of how many kilometres of trail we have, it seems that there's even more. We're adding more sidewalks, multi-use trails. We're building safer crossings. You're probably seeing them, some of the crossings that are jutting out into the streets. That's to create more safety for walkers and bikers. Our public transit's opening up more options for our residents to safely travel without a car. We want you to try to get around the city without a car to areas where you live and work and learn and play. Additionally, the City has increased the number of street trees that we plant every year. Over the past 5 years, we've planted 350 trees a year. This past year, we've planted 500 trees. Not only does this contribute to the City's aesthetic, further earning our reputation as the forest capital of Canada for 2023, an extensive tree canopy, it creates a sense of place. It captures carbon and helps buffer against the impacts of our ever-changing climate. By being a well-crafted city, we will honour our heritage. Fredericton has a large stock of buildings of historical and architectural significance. In fact, there's about 2,000 historic buildings throughout the city, but only 350 of those buildings is protected through the Heritage Preservation Area. Only 171 is protected through designation, which means of the almost 2,000 buildings, just about 500 are protected. So it means that there's about 1,500 that could be demolished. 1,500 of our beautiful historic buildings could be demolished if we are not intentional in their protection. I would say, for me, these buildings are really a representation of Fredericton's history. And I don't think any of us wants to lose them. We don't want to lose the very feature of our city that provides us with our unique character and with our charm, which is why the City of Fredericton and Council is crafting a plan for its built heritage, starting with the creation of a new heritage bylaw. City Council and staff, we are all focused. We're laser focused. We are laser focused on building a vibrant urban reality. But part of that vibrancy means protecting and enhancing what makes us unique, our distinctive historic character. With foresight and clever planning, there are many opportunities to breathe new life into these heritage buildings through restoration, through revitalization, and through reuse. And we are determined to do just that. So our number 5, oh, I love this picture. So number 5, our return on investment is achieving community goals through collaborative relationships. So a city well-crafted achieves community goals through collaborative relationships. I have to say, so I'll tell you why I love this picture. It's always a happy day. When I know that I'm meeting with Jill and Jenica, we're making an announcement, it's a happy day for Fredericton. It means that there's something really exciting that's going to be built, that's going to happen, that's going to take place in our city that wouldn't have happened had we not been all working together to make it happen. That's a picture of the three of us. There's lots of times I have lots of my counselors who are there with me because we're all celebrating the success of crafting these relationships. So you're going to have to, maybe forgive me. It's that this return on investment is probably one of my proudest, probably one that I'm proudest of, because it demonstrates what we can accomplish as a community by working together. So apologies in advance if I go on a little bit. Hopefully you'll find it as interesting as I do. I promise I won't take too long. Over the past year, the City of Fredericton, we have been particularly committed to crafting collaborative relationships with our partners. We have built stronger relationships with the provincial and federal governments, which has resulted in a level of shared effort, cooperation, and funding for our city like we have never seen before. Case in point, the new Performing Arts Centre. This past June, the City announced a funding plan for the new Performing Arts Centre, which, as you know, has been a priority of City Council for 10 years. We made that announcement, and we were able to do it because both the provincial and the federal governments provided funding through the integrated bilateral agreement to advance our core water and sewer renewals. So by receiving that joint funding, we were able to put money towards core needs of water and sewer, which then freed up money and enabled us to direct existing federal funds to the Performing Arts Centre. I know that that sounds like a lot of machination. It's completely above board, and it's clever, it's ingenious, it's industrious. Most of all, it's through collaboration. We're incredibly grateful to our government colleagues and friends for their invaluable assistance in achieving this milestone. A lot of conversations, I have to tell you, a lot of conversations and hard work went into securing $41 million worth of funding from the other levels of government. And it was work that we did together. The end result will be a new state-of-the-art performing arts centre, truly deserving of our capital city. We deserve this, folks. We deserve this performing arts centre. We are going to get it, and we look forward to construction beginning next year. Yeah. I'm sure you can all relate to something you've worked on for 10 years. 10 years I've been at this. 10 years I've been at this with many of my colleagues. So it feels good. We said we wanted this for our city, and we're going to make it happen. It was a lot of effort to keep the project alive. There were a lot of people who didn't think it was going to happen. There were naysayers. But it's moving forward. We had to keep it alive in the minds of the decision makers and the funders. But we did. We made it to this stage by working together, by rethinking how we can finance municipal projects, and we've done it without adding more taxpayers, more money, more cost to the Fredericton taxpayers. I'm looking out at Mayor Brad, and I think we made a commitment I'm thinking it was 2016, that it wouldn't cost Fredericton taxpayers any more than $14 million. We're now in 2022. It's not costing Fredericton taxpayers any more than $14 million. So it was a lot of work to get there, but I think we can all pat ourselves on the back for that. So because of our improved relationships with government, we see other projects coming to fruition, such as the roundabout at Brookside Drive and Route 105 intersection. We have a new ICU unit at the Dr. Everett Chalmers Hospital. We have more federal funding for transit, which will eventually provide us with our ultimate goal of Sunday transit service, not to mention all the dollars that come our way to improve ball fields and to support community crime education and prevention. Another proud moment was this summer's federal announcement of $18.6 million for the Awit-Gadi project, a new modern-day longhouse. This has been a long-standing dream for Indigenous communities in Fredericton and across the Maritimes, and this dream was finally realized thanks to tireless efforts from the Board of Directors and staff of Under One Sky, from city staff, from the province, from the feds. The longhouse demonstrates the true essence of what it means to be a community. The space is inclusive, it's multi-generational, it's a place to share and to collaborate, to foster relationships. It will be a beacon for all where we can come together to learn about and to be inspired by the rich Wabanaki history and contemporary practice found right here in New Brunswick's capital. The City of Fredericton continues to grow and strengthen its relationship with St. Mary's First Nation. And again, always a special thanks again to Saga Malin for being here with us, because he has been a true partner in our efforts to really enhance this relationship. And I would say we also are committed to fostering the relationship with the Wolastoqey Nation in New Brunswick, and we have Grand Chief Ron Tremblay in the photo as well, from WWMB. It's really important to us. It's very, very important to us that we fulfill our obligations as treaties peoples. We share this land. We are a treaty people. We are an ally. We share this land. We are fortunate to be on this land. I thank the graciousness and the generosity of our partners, of Indigenous partners. It means a lot to us, and it's very important. We are committed to supporting the preservation of the Wolastoqey language, culture, and history by offering access to 2 city-owned facilities for the establishment of Gakiman, a Wolastoqey land-based immersion school. For the first year, the school will run out of Killarney Lake Rotary Lodge, and then the school will move into another city-owned property that's near the lodge. It's a vacant property, but it's within the Killarney Park area. And this school will be the first of its kind in our area. We also, more relationships, look at us there, we continue to enjoy strong valued relationships with Business Fredericton North and Downtown Fredericton, Inc. We work together to provide timely, practical information and assistance to businesses and property owners regarding infrastructure upgrades and streetscape renewal projects. Look, you're all planners. Business people are planners, and we know that the right information at the right time helps make good decisions. So a recent success that we've had is working together in weathering practical challenges of road construction. Yeah, city engineers meet with businesses on both sides of the river to share construction plans as far out as 5 years. So there are never any surprises. So business owners, what to expect, so you can plan for those weeks and those months when the street's going to be closed in front of your business. We're happy and grateful for the collaboration with DFI and BFN. This no-surprise construction framework is a perfect example of our teamwork. The City of Fredericton also continues to maintain a strong and growing relationship with the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce. We have annual board and council meetings and regular meetings of staff to discuss issues of common concern. Lately, a lot of those discussions have been focused on public safety. Like all residents in the city, Council is concerned with the crime that we've been seeing in our community, in our business areas, in neighborhoods. I want you to know we're very aware of what's going on, and we're listening, and we have ideas and things that we're going to do to make change and to make some improvement. We plan to address public safety in a variety of ways, but one way we're going to do it is through cameras. We have, with the help of our community partners and this crafting and this ever-building and growing relationship that we're establishing, we're going to enhance the integrated camera system. Several cameras will be in place over the coming months to ensure visitors and customers and employees feel safer. We'll renew existing community cameras and install new public safety cameras in both the downtown and on the north side later this fall. And after that, additional public safety cameras will be put in place by businesses. As well, we've been working together with the Chamber and other community partners to bring in more family physicians to our city, promoting Fredericton as a supporting community that will welcome these much-needed healthcare professionals with open arms. When I was first elected as mayor over a year ago, I made a vow that I would address key issues in our city. And I said that I would do it by forging relationships with others in the community committed to crafting the best Fredericton possible. And that is what we are doing. We are forging these relationships to make our city the very best that it can be. So amazing stuff, so much amazing stuff is happening here. It's a lot has happened just this year, and the year's not even over yet. Crafting real, authentic, meaningful, fruitful relationships, it's all part of our plan to fulfill the vision of a vibrant, affordable, healthy Fredericton. Another outcome of a well-crafted city, and I know a city that we all want to be vibrant, is crafting a place that will entice a future for our youth. Like many of you, when I was attending high school and university, like Sagam, when he mentioned, we felt we couldn't stay here because of a lack of jobs. We thought we needed to leave. Many went to bigger cities like Halifax, Montreal, Toronto, further west. But that's changing. There are many opportunities for young people right here in Fredericton. Many are choosing Fredericton now over Halifax and Montreal, Toronto, and Western Canada because of all that our city has to offer, whether it be our universities and our post-secondary institutions, our recreational offerings, sports, cultural amenities. We've got craft beer, we've got super cool little pop-up vintage stores, we have wonderful coffee shops, we have a lot happening right here. Things are happening in Fredericton. All together, we have made things happen. First off, we have these wonderful places of higher learning. We have UMB. I'm looking at some of my colleagues on the UMB Board of Governors. We have UMB. We have St. Thomas University. We have MBCC and MBCCD, the Maritime Forestry School. That draws people to our city. That keeps young people in our city during their years of becoming. While they're here, though, we want to make sure that they really engage in the city and that they participate in all that we've planned, in all that we're delivering to make Fredericton an exciting and interesting place to be. So we need to engage that youth. Bring them, they're here, we've got to keep them here. Fredericton has so much. We have 120, as of yesterday, 120 kilometers of trails along the river. We have awesome single-track mountain biking. You young people love that. We have beautiful parks. We have natural spaces. We have many rec clubs. I think of all the rec clubs that are out there organizing and delivering lots of different sports, lots of different rec offerings. In the world of sport, we're welcoming the top male and female curlers in the country to Willie O'Ree for the PointsBet Invitational. That's happening later this month. We're hosting the 2022 ITF Women's Challenger Tennis at the Abney Family Tennis Centre in October. We've got so much going on that's of interest. And I would say also as we become more diverse, as Fredericton becomes increasingly diverse, we're creating more diverse and recreational offerings. For instance, we have plans in place for a new cricket facility. And I don't know about many of you. I don't know a lot about cricket, but you know who does? Young people. We had the most interesting presentation at our Livable Community Committee meeting a couple of months ago, and cricket players came out. They're young and they're interesting, and some of them don't play any other sport, but they play cricket and they love it, and we've got plans in place to build a new cricket facility. The vibrancy that's keeping more young people engaged is the result of this crafting, this careful, thoughtful, deliberate planning, not just by the city, but by many groups and by many businesses that are here in the community. Earlier this year, an awesome volunteer host committee helped organize the East Coast Music Awards, generating up to $6 million for Fredericton. This is but one of the many cool events and amazing festivals and marvelous programs occurring in Fredericton. Next week's Harvest, everyone, doesn't get much cooler than that. We have the Beaverbrook Art Gallery reopening this weekend after 3 years under renovation. It's gorgeous. If you haven't been, you have to go. Tomorrow is the public opening for everyone. But you know what? Even during the renovations, they delivered some really some new and inviting programming. I don't know if anyone went. On Thursday evenings, they opened up the side of the building and they had a little cafe and they served wine, and it was lovely right along the green. And now in the pavilion, there's going to be a fireplace. Again, you don't need to be a member. You don't need to pay to get in. You can go in and sit by that fireplace surrounded by beautiful art and get a coffee from Chesapeake's Coffee Shop. So, like, there's really great stuff happening here. On both sides of the city, we're seeing lots of neat stuff. We have many businesses doing some really neat things that cater specifically to young people and to young people at heart, because I like to partake in some of that myself. It's all happening right in our community. We have the Cap. Very, very cool spot. We have the Landing. I'm loving biking over to the Landing and sitting there, and then you can also shop for mountain bike stuff if that's your thing. We have Halimac. So here are my two youths, probably very happy they're not at this table, having to look at that picture, but they wanted to do something fun on March break. It was like still COVID-ish. We didn't want to go anyplace. We're like, okay, guys, what do you want to do? And they were like, wow, we haven't gone to Halimac yet, and it's supposed to be super neat. So we went. I, of course, snapped a picture. So there they are enjoying Halimac. Could have also taken a picture of them at the Cap, because I know they're there lots too. There's also Half Cup Brewing. There's the Sweat Club. There are a whole bunch of us thinking off all these things. The Sweat Club. We have, I know Hanson Road Flowers. I don't know if it's like, I don't know if what we call this an event or a program, but it is a business that young people love to go to. So my lovely husband gave me a subscription to Flowers every month because I love it there. But whenever I shop there, it's filled with young people, like guys and girls, because it's such a cool spot. So I would just say everyone's turning their mind to how to make Fredericton vibrant. I don't want to lose out. I'm a very competitive person, which I'm sure surprises none of you. I don't like it when St. John does something that I think's cooler than us. It makes me quite cranky. I don't like it when Moncton gets some stuff that we don't get. I don't like it. But we cannot do this alone. We need all of you to help us to be that cool, vibrant destination. And speaking of cool, neat things, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that we're a market city. We're becoming a very a really market-driven kind of city, and it is a real draw. We're home of the Garrison Night Market. I'm sure you've all been. It is the best night market in Atlantic Canada, and it makes Fredericton just sparkle every Thursday night. Also on Thursday night, we have the Recap Market for the super hip. We have our Boys Farmers Market on Saturday mornings, again filled with people of all ages. We have the Northside Market that takes place all weekend, and they've got a really great event happening there this Sunday afternoon. Soon Officer Square will be back online, making it possible once again to have special events that foster a strong sense of community and bring even more dynamism into our downtown. All of this activity has been designed to make Fredericton a lively, inviting place, and it contributes to our objective of creating a city where young people want to come, to live, and to stay. In Fredericton, we are committed to supporting people of all ages. But I think there's no denying that our future lies with our youth. And I want to create and to craft for them a city with a vibe. So to sum up, City Council and staff have been meticulous in our approach to growth, fiscal stability, environmental protection, heritage stewardship, and collaboration with government and community partners. We are strategic, we are purposeful, and we are resolute. Fredericton is a city well crafted. We care about the people who live here, and we care about what our future holds. We are shaping an energetic and energized community for residents and businesses alike. But now I'm going to throw down the gauntlet to you, and I'm going to urge each and every one of you here today to think about what you can do to make our city even more vibrant, even more dynamic, even more interesting and embracive. Be part of crafting a Fredericton where people want to live, work, play, and thrive. Because really, it takes all of us working together as a community to build a city well crafted. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor Kate. My name is Jill Stairs. I am the president of the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to extend a special thank you to Mayor Rogers and her family, and Mayor Kate in particular, for delivering your second State of the City address. You have some ambitious goals, and we look forward to seeing you achieve them. I would also like to thank Krista Ross for being today's MC. You did an amazing job, as always. The Fredericton Chamber and the City of Fredericton have a great working relationship, and we look forward to continuing that relationship. The collaboration with Mayor Rogers, councillors, city staff on files such as immigration, shopping local, tourism, economic development, amongst many, many others. Mayor Rogers, as a token of our appreciation, we're making a donation in your name to Youth in Transition Fredericton. Youth in Transition Fredericton provides a nurturing home for youth to mend their past hurts and a supportive and engaging environment for them to develop essential life skills. This organization believes that every human being deserves to have a home, one that provides respect, safety, stability, nutritious meals, and every opportunity to succeed. Once again, I would like to thank all of our sponsors. We could not do this event without your generous support. Our platinum sponsor, Hotspot Parking. Our gold sponsors, Elliott McRae Hill and Encore Global. Our silver sponsors, Gauguin Architecture and Ignite Fredericton. Our broadcast sponsors, Rogers TV. Our bronze sponsor, Advocate Printing, Cures Marketing Group, and Rob Blanchard Photography. And the Past Mayor's Table, which is sponsored by the Real Estate Board of the Fredericton area. Our next major chamber event will be the 2022 Business Excellence Awards on October the 6th at the Delta Fredericton. Tickets are available now on the website, so I encourage you all to register to attend. It's a great event, and we hope to see you there. Once again, thank you to each of you for attending this afternoon. Don't forget to bring your box dessert home if you haven't already eaten it, and have a great rest of the day. Thank you.